What's up, y'all? In this section of the Residential Locksmith Starter Series, we are going to talk about the WeiserBolt. That is right. Look how long. Look how far it sticks out. That is because it is in deadbolt mode right now. That's right. They had a doorknob that turned into a deadbolt. How exciting is that? What in the hell did this come about? Well, I'm happy to share with you a little bit of knowledge from a verified source, somebody that used to sell these back in the day when they were popular. These were made in the early 1980s at the behest of some big name contractors. This is the basic history of it. Who were building a crap load of properties, like single family properties, but apartments, hell, I don't know, something like that. A bunch of buildings were going up, and the big developers were like, we don't want to pay the door guys to cut another hole for the deadbolt, because that was kind of around the time where people were like, damn, we need a deadbolt on this door. Well, Weiser was like, hey, I got the hookup for you. And then they get online with their engineers, and their engineers came up with the WeiserBolt in a doorknob style and handle set style. We'll look at some actual literature from that era. But yes, inside has a big old whopping thumb turn, and it acts like a regular open close door lock. Oh, let's get the key out first. Okay. Acts like a regular open close deal until you flip the thumb turn in. And that disables the doorknob. Conversely, you can use the key to do the same thing from the outside. So you shut your door, open, boop, I am going to the parlor, and walk out your door, close it behind you, take your key, and do that. Boom. And then pull your key out, and you now have a deadbolted door without the extra hole. When you came home, you would take your key, turn it the other way, and where you can either take it, turn it, and then turn it, or you can turn it and then do that and push the door open, kind of like a storeroom function lock. Pretty neat piece of hardware. However, when they first came out, there was a pin on the inside, a hub gear pin, he believes is what they called it. That it was a big scandal. They got all these out. They were like, sure, we're sending them out by the barrel full. And they cost about $50. And now the literature we've got is about $58 a knob and about $127 for the handle set version. So of course that was pretty expensive. $100 in 1988 or 86 was like $270 now. So that means a $50 doorknob would be something. I'll put it up here on the screen. And that broken hub spring pissed a lot of people off, as one could imagine. So they had to change it to, I think they changed it to something with copper. Anyway, long story is they had, back then, they gathered all the sales associates for Weiser Corporation. And Weiser was like, and all the sales associates are, you know, back then wearing their tweed gray suits. Everybody matches, maybe have hats on. Okay, all you sales guys, y'all need to take note of this new product that we have. It's called the WeiserBolt. You can sell this very easily to some of your customers. You Jimmy over there in the northeast quadrant. Yes, sir, I'm here. We heard through the lumber mill that you guys are going to be getting a big development up in your area. So you need to go ahead and get with those contractors and upsell them to the WeiserBolt. Okay, will do, boss. Yeah, something like that. That's pretty much how it went, as far as we know. I can just imagine it. A lot of guys are a little hesitant about these things because it's unique and different and scary, and there's a helicopter going overhead, but they're not that bad. I don't know. There's no screw on that one. Get your Phillips screwdriver. Today we're going to use the vessel with the ball in it. And we're going to unscrew that screw instead of tightening it even further. Now, I will mention that, again, this is builder's lumber that is 1.5 inches thick instead of 1 3/8. or 1 3/4. Thus, I had to use that decorative escutcheon on the outside of it to make it work when you tighten it down. One other interesting thing, every one of these that I have over here, so take your 2 Phillips screws out. This uses the 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock position. And the catalog we're looking at was in 1990. Pull this guy off, and again, I had to put this ring on there just to make it fit right, because they have adapter rings. I'll show you. The latch, we're gonna go ahead and take this latch off, because it's a pretty imperative part of servicing these guys. But because of how they're designed, they just won't yank out. You have to be real careful about this little nipple up here. So to avoid that, I'm gonna push it in and then pull it out. Don't try to force it out, because it's gonna get hit, and while it may eventually like bend over on its own, it's better to just do that. We're gonna take this out because we're gonna lube the heck out of it. Everything about this one is sluggish. Now, I just took it off the door and it was working correct. We all agree that it was working beautifully. There are arrows on the inside, and I'm gonna put this together just like I had it on the door. So, see how it's working like it's supposed to? Well, except for that. And then throw that out. Turns there, we're gonna throw that out again. Deactivates, works, right? These don't turn, okay? It should freely turn, but you see what happened? I turned the knob instead of that, so I don't have the keys for this one. I want to see what's going on with it. Troy design, I do have the one out here was Beverly design. I've got a couple of Troys, but only 3 of them with latches. So I'm curious as to why this is happening. You're not supposed to be able to turn the knob and throw the deadbolt. Plus, it doesn't even throw the deadbolt out. So is this one of those with that broken pin? Maybe. When you turn it on the inside, all it does is the same thing. So I was like, maybe the arrows, you know, on the inside, you see those arrows right there? You would assume that's up because the patent pending stamp is up, but it very well could be down. Is it up or is it down? Well, if I turn it around so that it's down and the one on the inside is down. First off, all these latches were for in-swing doors. If you had an out-swing door, you couldn't flip it because of how this works. So on this one, it's going to be a right-hand door because it'll be on the left-hand side, and the arrows go up. So in, keyway up, latch, swing in, and then by theory, since those are up, you would want these to be up as well. So we're going to put that on now. Now it doesn't withdraw the latch at all. So what the heck's going on with this one? And I say with this one, it may not be anything because these do it as well. Is it the upside down part? Is it something else weird? Let's check. So 1990, the DA series WeiserBolt. DA 5170, Aristocrat, Beverly, Troy, Smushball, or Huntington, which I don't have. And check it out. That's called the High Point. That's their High Point handle set. If you flip the page a few times, you can see the High Point version. I'd love to run across one of those one day. It would definitely get mounted. That didn't sound right. Anyway, come blister pack. As you notice here, 2 16 whatever rings to be used on 1 3/8 doors, which is why I had to do what I did over there. Those rings are going to be almost assuredly just big enough to fit over this and space it off the door just a little bit for thinner doors. Or you could use, you know, other kind of rings. Sometimes you had this, the fake handle sets. If you wanted to buy a knob and you wanted a fake handle set, you could get this decorative handle set during that time as well. whatever, that would have worked probably as well. Nothing's wrong with this one. We're just going to hose it down with lubricant. We need to find out what's going on with this one, because if I take this off and we flip it around, maybe this is an outswing latch. Like over here, it tells you WeiserBolt will be shipped for in-swing unless specified outswing. Refer to page 5. So this would be not on the, if this was an outswing latch with the arrows up, it throws it out, which shouldn't do that. So then let's pull it back. We'll flip it over. That's supposed to be pointing up, so this definitely has to be for a right-hand door. That makes that upside down, the keyhole upside down. It doesn't work, so we're going to flip that so the arrows are up. Almost assuredly they're supposed to be up, but as you can see, it still doesn't work that. So maybe the hub spring's broken on this. Let us see. To do so, you will need to get your retaining ring pliers. I ordered these a while back in case, you know, all you tool guys wanting to know. This is the Knipex 4611AO. I want to get, the next one I'm going to get is a 4611A1. Now, of course, these are only expanding, but for the most part with Weiser, you have expanding. You have them open that way. So, let's see, this guy. See, I'm scared. Those tips are so fine. Now, I know Knipex wouldn't do this knowing about it, but I'm going to get the A1 to see how it works next, which would be closer to this tip size, which is a Wald's, which I don't think they make anymore. Anyway, take that clip off. Look at our keyhole. It's right side up there. And then pull this. I don't understand why people freak out about that. That's all you have to do, yeah. Hub pin. Hub pin. What would be the hub pin? That's just a slider. That's not a pin. Change from bronze to or pot metal to bronze, and then get your Weiser tool and run down in here. Unscrew, unscrew, unscrew until it comes off, just like any other Weiser tailpiece, cam, whatever. I don't know if that pin is retained or pulls out. It pulls out, so we're just going to go ahead and pull the pin, and maybe the spring. The spring definitely just came out, so we want to drop that if you want to be careful. If not, just be careful. Shimmaroo, grab your Weiser key. All right, we're going to go ahead and hose this down. I'm trying to use all my, I think that's used. I'm trying to use up my almost empty cans. I bring them in from the truck when they're almost empty to use them where I have plenty of replacement. All right, gonna have to go with a pretty long shim here. New one would be the best way to go about that. I'm gonna shim trim. Still got that helicopter. There is a championship game going on right now, so that is probably the whole helicopter thing that we're hearing in the background. All right, so there goes 5. Now, just like the old Weiser that we did, this is just kind of a blind guessing game on it, because once you lose sight of the shim, oh, okay, we're on 3. On 2, and of course you could pick it if you want to, but you don't spend the time doing that. That's cray. It's just as easy to shim it. Push our shim out, key it up. Looks like I had keyed it up to something. Let's grab some actual Weiser keys. Even though it's not historically accurate because we don't have any 7/8 or 9s in this one, I'm just gonna pin it up to this. So O2, this is a newer key. I hate doing this. Weiser, I believe, is 168. 2 would be 204. 3 would be 222 or 219. Which one is it? 222, 3, and 2. So that's 204. put the guy back together. Check your top pins at this age if it has not been serviced, of course. Make sure your springs and your pins and everything are working up top. We're going to presume these are. Kind of harder to do because you've got that floating housing that you really can't get out. So, and plus I'm remembering which way it's up, so when I can follow this through. Why is that? Oh, I put a 2 in there. It's supposed to be a 1. That's 186. Crazy Jason. All right, remember our top pins were somewhere in this area, but as long as you're doing this and you don't run it through that way. So that's one critical thing about slipping this back in, is you want to make sure your top pins, where their orientation is, because if I would have accidentally slipped this in, that pin would have dropped straight down in there. What is that little hole for? Who knows? So doop, and then doop, and check it. Just like that. All right, let's look at this orientation right here. This may have had something to do with how it went back together. First, let's get all this back in. A little bit hard to do because you gotta guide it. Ooh, jump. Spring's gonna do it. Spring's gonna do. Gotta guide that fella down in there. Just like that. And then we'll do the same with the pin. Pin's got a little goo on it, but I'm gonna hose it down with lubricant once I pass this phase. Make sure this washer is flat. Sometimes these get bent. This one's actually a heavier duty washer, so I don't know what they mean by hub spring. We took it apart while he was here telling me the tale, and he pointed to something that I would not consider a hub spring, but I can't remember what it was. Okay, get in, come on. Sit flat on the cap, thank you. Make sure that it's open to that position there. And then when you put it in, you kind of want to guide it over to where that was. Yeah. It's actually a good time to go ahead and lubricate it. Makes it easier to put back on. Sometimes. Okay, it's tight, and I'm going to back it off one and kind of wiggle. Look down in there, make sure my pin is poking up. Yep, it is. Just poke it around. When I put this guy back together, I want to make sure that it's not one way or the other. So we definitely need to be like that, this, and then just slip this over it. Nope, right there. All right, so let's go this way. The notch goes in there.
Bye, thank you.
Yeah, hey, bye. Have a good day. Okay, so let's see if that fixed it. Maybe I'd put it on upside down. I'm going to use these better, my most favorite snap ring pliers. Oh, uh-oh. May have to use these. My tips are bent out pretty bad. There's no easy way to do these. As I fight, oh, the tip bent. Oh, maxing out that little tool, aren't I? Look at that. Destroyed a Nipex on camera. So we're going to have to use this guy. Let's see. Well, that's just a shame. Look what y'all did. Am I going to have to go get my tweezers out of, or my snap ring pliers out of the truck? Do I have any more in here? I don't have any more in here. All right. Fine, be that way. Along these pliers. Yeah. Okay, now they're spread open far enough to get them the rest of the way. All right, this thing has to be pretty much flat, so there we go. All right. Arrows up. All right, guys, look at that. Totally handed. Oh, that's not pulling it back all the way, is it? I wonder why. Is the mess up in the bolt? In the latch? Or is the mess up in here? Let's go put it on the door and see. You know what I mean by door. So this thing is definitely designed for that way in swinging. So we're going to put the latch on just like that. Put this guy through. Oh, we need a ring. Need the ring for spacing issues. And we're gonna put this guy on just like that. This probably needs to be facing up, just like that, just like that. Need a screw. Stay. Found a screw. Peel the plastic off your latches, people. Boom. Boom. Boom, boom. It works again. It's all about how it's handed. The inside doesn't. Now, I didn't tighten the screws down, of course, but yeah, the inside seems to be kind of funky on the withdrawal. It's not pulling it back all the way. Poor fella. Anyway, that's it on the WeiserBolt, not to be confused with the electronic thing that came out later on. This died off right around early 90s. But they're out there. You never know when you're going to run up on one. And if you ever run up on one that ain't broken, that's how it's supposed to look. Thanks for watching, y'all. If you have any questions or comments, post them in the comment section. We'll catch y'all next video. Handle sets. It's cool, man. It's cool. That's some cool shit. By the way, y'all, I had no hope for these pliers. I knew that I was going to do that to them. That's no reflection. I was overusing it beyond its capacity. That was not meant for that. Ross God is having a heart attack, aren't they? Beep, beep, beep.